Right, that was our awkward pause for the beginning of the episode there for Dex. He's been messaging me saying that he doesn't really think that we've been taking on his feedback. So I just wanted to make that blatantly obvious. I hope everyone has had a good fishy week, and welcome. Today is episode number 69.
That was me.
Great.
Sorry.
Great. No, it's all right. I wish I'd known that in advance, because I conveniently have 68 aquariums at home that are full of water, and there is one that does not. My last aquarium does not have water in it, so I would have made all 69 available for this episode if I'd known in all of their glory. Anyway,
69 glories.
Yes, what have you guys been up to? Fishy wise.
One of us or both?
Oh, okay. Right. That really limits it then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can go first. I was pretty excited to see that my black widow frontosa have bred.
Nice.
And actually, I have got 2 females holding at the moment.
Nice.
So
What size are they?
Cool. They are at the moment about 12 centimeters. It's a fairly decent size.
So you're probably not, but you're not expecting them to be viable at that size, right? Or
I mean, I've had them breed at a smaller size before, and they've been okay.
successful. Oh, really?
But we will see.
Because I will say that was still on the small
pretty
side
cool.
for frontosa.
Yeah, definitely still on the small side, but no, it's a step in the right direction for them. They've one that I've been tinkering with for a little while.
So black widows are splotchy, not stripy. Yeah, that's the difference in them.
Yeah.
So it's the same fish but a different patterning.
The Burundi, a mutation of Burundi, basically just someone saw a random pattern and then line bred for it, basically.
So it is a natural one that's come through. And just worked on.
Again, with all of this sort of stuff, it's very hard to know, but that is what I understand. I believe there's an awful lot of hybridization in Asia that they say is line breeding, but I mean, or Asia, Germany, all over the world, basically. Shouldn't just blame Asia. But I mean, again, without being the person that did it or the people that did it, it's hard to know exactly what happened. But the party line is that they're a line bred natural mutation of Burundi. So
okay. And where does the black widow come from? Is there a particular marking, or are they a darker color or something like that? Or is it just someone thought, hey, that sounds like it'll be really marketable, we're going to make them black widow to sell them a bit easier?
I thought it looked kind of like a spider web, but
okay.
Is that what it is? I don't know.
I mean, the ones that I've got don't look like a spider web, but definitely like very splotchy. I find that the black widow tends to have a little bit of a nicer blue to them, personally.
Okay.
Whether that's that they're not as common, or
no, they don't look like a spider web at all, do they? Just blotchy.
Yeah.
I thought they were splotchy as well, which is weird why they call them black widow.
Maybe does the black widow spider have the same similar marking on it?
It's all Google black widow spiders.
Actually, it's got a big red splodgy on the back of it, so yeah, I can see why they'd call it that. Obviously, the frontosa is not red, but it's got splodgies on it. So,
what about the black widow?
That was an exciting part of my week.
how many black widows do you have?
I have got 1 male, 5 females.
Oh yeah.
Do you think, just looking at the Google images, do you think that the blue comes through a little bit more because there's less
black
barring, so it makes the blue come through a little bit more as opposed to the natural stripy version or variety of it? I think that might be why it is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot more, I want to say, surface area for the color to come through. And that can catch the light a bit better. So, yeah, I think just naturally they're going to show a little bit more.
I've got got other varieties overseas, like the Night Star. Look at the Night Star ones as well, I don't think we've got them in New Zealand.
What are they? Do they have like a star pattern on them?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then there's the red ones as well. And I'm assuming that where the blue is, they're more of a red crimson-y colour.
Yeah, the red ones came in, and they're still around. I don't think I've ever seen really seen any adults in person, to be honest.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any adults. No.
Someone must have them.
There's been blue mobas as well, more recently, and
Karen.
They're considered to have one of the best displays of blue. Whether the ones coming in are in fact mobas or not, that's a trust basis. But yeah,
there's been a lot of lot of dubious quality Frontosa coming, that's for sure, and the Zaires and mobas and Mapimbui and stuff that just look a little bit funny and a little bit off. But I've seen in New Zealand probably six different species of wild caught ones before in a guy's fish room. Some of them pushing sort of 40 centimeters long. It's pretty impressive.
Obviously, people keep like there's people that are really interested in Tropheus, and they do just tanks only for Tropheus, or even potentially just fish rooms only for Tropheus, and like that happens with lots of different species of fish. Are you guys aware of anyone in New Zealand that are doing just have a fish room dedicated to Frontosa? Is there anyone out there doing that?
A fish room or like a specific tank just for them?
Oh, not so much a tank, like more a fish room or a more dedicated to Frontosa than any other kind of species of fish. That's their kind of jam.
Not that I'm aware of. The problem is in New Zealand, it's just so many. It's hard to find. We've got such a small population of fish keepers. It's hard to find someone that crazy, you know.
Yeah. Also, getting them enough for them to come in to make it kind of viable, if that makes sense.
The problem is, you could go, hey, I just want to put 10 tanks into Frontosa. You probably struggle to find 10 good species in the country.
Yeah.
And you'd just be battling and getting rubbish in from importers and spending lots of money. But yeah, I agree.
I think as
That's
well
cool,
with how the time in which they take to get from juvenile to breeding age, and just the space constraints that you're going to have with that as well. Realistically, they need to be in a massive tank, even if you're dedicating them to breeding.
Yeah, of course. Like even if the 6 species here, we're looking at being minimum 6-foot tanks basically, and that's a lot of real estate because it's pretty hard to stack a 6-foot tank. It's doable, but it's hard to stack a 6-foot tank. So
they just put one down. Just put one on the bottom and then one on the top.
Oh, is that how that works? I didn't realize that was how stacking worked. I thought stacking was like this and like this and like this and like this, y'all.
Wow. Have you ever played that game where you've got to like spin the blocks around and put them in? It's like that.
Isn't that called Tetris?
Yeah, Tetris. That's the one.
Yeah. I think with aquariums, it's pretty hard to put them end on end because the water just falls out of it, so they have to be that way.
Ryan's more used to playing Jenga with his tanks anyway.
And I guess also the problem with New Zealand is overseas with a larger market, you probably could set up a fish room like that. You could breed some fish and then you could potentially move the offspring off to offset some costs, or you'd set it as a little backyard thing. In New Zealand, like there's not that many people that can actually house Frontosa properly. Like Matt's probably pushing it with his size tanks at the moment, but there is a plan to upgrade them as they get bigger, you know, because he's just where his tanks are. But most people can't do it.
And realistically as well, my plan with these guys is it'll be max 1 spawn a year. Like there's no point doing any more than that. And then just the rest of the time, enjoy them in a nice display tank.
Yeah, definitely one of those.
Take up too much
definitely one of those things going to need to spawn sort of once every in a blue moon, just to sort of say that you're doing it, kind of thing, because there's zero market for them.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably want to spawn them enough to actually get a colony for someone, like 10, 12 fish type thing, and then the problem is they're so cheap in the shops, and everyone's just chucking them in random tanks and stuff, and it's they are what they are, right? But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. We're good Frontosa chat right there, and you keep Frontosa too, don't you, Cam?
I do. I absolutely love Frontosa. Absolutely adore them.
Yeah, there we go. And I do not. So there you go.
Because you're a loser. of all the African cichlids for you not to like, you don't like the coolest oones.
I do like them, but I can't. And my current setups house them, so there's no
not
point.
With that attitude.
Yeah. I did briefly consider. I've got some 1.2 by 750 footprint tanks in the fish room, and I did consider would they be big enough, but they're just not long enough, so I didn't do it.
Fair enough.
So,
yeah, they definitely enjoy that space.
Well, they also get a fright, and they just zip. And if they're gonna smash into the walls and stuff with the tank and hit rocks and that, it's just not fun life for them, or for you, because you know.
Yeah, I was going to put mine display tank in the shop, but for that reason, I decided not to. Like, they're really calm around me. Every now and then, I'll freak them out, but like to get the odd person come out the back to grab some fish or whatever, and just that is enough to more than often than not spook them out. So I decided against that because, well, I don't really want that happening to them.
Yeah, friend of mine.
They can spook quite easily.
Incredibly easily.
Even if when you've had them for years and years and years, and still the tiniest little thing just trips them off.
Yeah, my friend that had a bunch of them was rearranging its whole fish room so that the Frontosa could see people coming, because he said that he'd had some dead of fright so bad that they'd smashed into the wall of the tank and injured or killed themselves. You know, these were wild caught ones though. I don't actually know what happened to them. I should probably message him and see if he's still got them, because it'd be cool to see them.
Yeah.
They were also horrendously good at eating stuff, other fish, particularly.
It doesn't take much for them to open up their mouths and fit something in.
Especially when he, especially when he went away for the weekend and didn't feed them, and came back to all their tank mates no longer their tank mates.
Okay. I haven't had them eat anything else. I've definitely had the male go on a rampage over the course of a couple of days and destroy half my tank.
You had one eat a yellow, didn't you, once? You put a photo up of half a yellow and said,
no, that's you that continues to put that photo up that you randomly found on the internet. It wasn't me. I've seen the photo.
No, or it was a lulupai or something. It ate something. I remember you put a photo up of your tank and said, bloody. Anyway.
Oh, you're right. Yes, it's done lulupai. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I lie. I have had to meat fish before, but yeah, definitely had my dominant male go on a murderous rampage over a course of a weekend, destroy a whole bunch of fish, which annoyed me. But that is what it is. It's my own fault for doing what I was doing.
The ones that I saw were wild caughts are probably more likely to be predatory than aquarium-based ones that have been. If they kept well fed, they're probably not likely to have that kick in as much, I reckon.
Yeah, probably quite right.
Anyway, that's our Frontosa chat for the morning. There we go.
Yeah. We can do that every week if you want. I really enjoy that. I don't know if anyone wants to hear it, but I'm happy to do that every week.
Looks like the chat's going on about Corydorus or hospital llamas or something.
Hospital llamas? Hospital llamas.
Let's put some llamas in the hospital instead of some Corydorus, eh?
Hospital llamas, good times.
Cool.
But yeah, other than Frontosa chat, the only other thing that's been quite cool to see in my grow out tank at the moment is it looks like I have got quite a number of platinum OB peacocks coming through. So these are white or a blue sheen base and then splotches on top. So they're quite cool watching them start to colour up.
Sorry, what was that fish? I missed it. I got a message.
Platinum OB peacock.
Oh yeah.
So
I've
white,
got some of these randomly coming through.
not to be confused with a non-platinum OB or a Friary OB or any other OB that you want to add to the list.
Yeah, OBs are a bit of a wild west day. You can just make up whatever you want. But yeah, there's actually one behind me somewhere in there that I quite liked.
I can't tell because they're all the same fish with a different paint job. Yes, you walked right into that. I'm happy with that. Yes. You can say something. I don't care. I'm happy now. I've got that
anyway,
one
out. But yeah, that's
they're cool.
They're cool. Yeah, they're definitely cool. The hard part with OBs is, which I found is, you get a cool one and you want to create more of that cool one, and without, it's really hard to fix the because obviously they're just the mongrel of all mongrels. So breeding them with anything, it's really hard to actually get the same thing back out again, which is the cool thing about them, but also the not cool thing about them. You know, so you get a nice yellow one, you put in some OB females, and then never get a yellow one out. You get oranges and reds and blues and all sorts. But yeah.
Yeah, you can go entire spawns not getting what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. It's cool, but frustrating as well if you want to create more.
And that's my story.
I like it. Cameron, what have you had go on?
Spawned some flammes.
Some flammes.
Yeah.
No babies yet.
No, they spawned yesterday, so I'm expecting a big pile of moldy, mushy, gross eggs this morning. So we'll see how we go. Currently my nemesis.
You're trying some different things though, aren't you? It's all right.
Yeah, I'm getting the eggs. The prep's fine, the eggs are fine, the spawning's fine. I'm just not getting the eggs past egg stage, if that makes sense. So
you've raised some before, haven't you? Or one or two before or something?
One.
You're not having like a fertility issue? You got multiple males or multiple things like that, you know?
By the looks of it, I've got 2 females, 2 males.
Oh, yeah.
So in theory, that shouldn't be the problem. I think it sank in the water parameters by the pH a little bit too high from what I've been speaking to people. They really want a far lower pH. Obviously, the API test kit won't go any lower than 6, so I'm hoping for the best this time around because I've dumped a whole bunch of acid in there. So we'll see how we go.
Nice. What acid did you put in there?
I want to say phosphoric, but it might be another one. The one in the bottle that I got told to buy.
Nice. I like your science. It's
something.
Good.
It's over there. It's over with everything. So yeah. Using RODI water, a little bit of tannins from some seeped catapa and some seeped elder cones, and some of the acid. So we'll see how we go.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to hatch them in 2 different containers this time around. So I spawn them with a tray in the bottom of the tank. So I've taken that tray out, put some air into it with some methylene blue, and then the overspray is obviously still in the tank as well. So I've separated the 2 of them and see how we go. So
nice. Good luck.
We'll
That'll
see.
Be good.
It'll be good if I can tick them off and say that I've done it, and I can never have to bother with them ever again because they're annoying me. But we'll see.
Maybe you become like the New Zealand expert at flame tetras, and that can be your thing. You can retire, buy Lambo, you know. All that
with the huge market of flame tetras.
Yeah, you sell 100. That's it.
That's a Lambo. Yeah. Job done. Easy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's sell them.
Just have to sell them for $1,000 each. Can't be that hard. It's all in the sales, right?
Market them properly.
Yeah.
I could just say they're a crazy line variant of a red widow flame tetra, or put some funky name on them. That
call them platinum.
Platinum flame.
Yeah.
It'll be worth millions in no time.
My week has been just the normal shit. I've been playing with. I got a new pump for my for my new tank, so that's good. It's quiet now. I'm not lying in bed listening to the hum of the AC motor, which is good. I still can't get it quiet, which is annoying, but I'm still playing with it. The plant trial has failed dramatically.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
not
What
dramatically,
happened there?
just gradually. They're just eating all the val, eating all the ambulia, and just kind of just fucking the Anubis up, but not eating it, just fucking it up, so it won't grow.
So your grand plans for a carpet tank are no more.
And the missus goes, "Oh, it looks really nice with those plants in there." It's like, but they're eating them. She's like, "I'll just grow them in the fish room and just keep putting them in there so it looks nice." And I'm like, it's not really how it works. But the fish room is cranking all the plants out, so I could just at least feed it to them. But you know,
I've got an even better option. Just get rid of the trophies and have a planter tank. That's what your wife wants. That's what your wife should get.
it's not happening. I am digging the tank though. It's actually real cool. There's just a wall of trophies when you walk up to it, which I'm loving. And the fish room, I filled up the new 6 tanks that I put in there a week or two ago, so that's good. I filled them up last night and seeded them with some cycle media. So I am up to 68 water vessels filled with water now, and 1 more leaky tank to fix, and then I'm away. That's my lot. That's all I can do. So
Is this the same leaky tank that's been plaguing you for a while?
I have had many leaky tanks that no longer. I've only got 1 now, but this one hasn't been a long-term one. It's just been probably the last 3 weeks, maybe. I've only sealed it once, so it's probably not that much of a major. It had a big crack in it. It was the bane of my existence in the fish room because it cracked and running along stuff and doing weird stuff. So I thought I'd fix the crack, but I did not. So yeah. Mm. And by fixed, I mean just goop another piece of glass over top of it.
I was just going to say, was your version of fixing that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't have a 900 by 700 piece of glass lying around, so it's just going to be building up layers upon layers of goop until it stops. Yeah. All right, cool. So that's pretty much my excitement. I've just been, pottering with that. What else has happened? Oh, I shipped some fish yesterday.
Whoa.
No way.
Hang on.
No way.
So, yeah. And it reminded me why I don't like shipping fish. It's fucking horrible. I hated it. For starters, I took a massive order of fish and didn't have a polybox big enough for them all. So that sucked. And then I was driving around Helensville checking all the places that I could possibly get a polybox from, like the butcher and the veggie shop and the fish and chip shop and the fucking doctor's surgery and stuff and the chemist, everywhere. And I got one little tiny polybox on this. Well, that'll be handy to chip a couple of fish, but it's not going to help me today. So I ended up with two boxes. Luckily, and within the North Island, freight is very cheap now. They've dropped the price of within the island and then cranked up the price of inter-island shipping, like just cranked it to infinity plus 1. So it cost me the same to send a massive box which weighed like 12 kilos to. It was more than that. I think it was 12 kilos to Wellington, massive box, as it did to send a tiny little box which weighed 3 kilos to Dunedin. So
it's ridiculous, though.
It was it's phenomenal. Like it's just like they see this bit of water and make the price quadruple. So,
non-fact check, but it is the most expensive piece of water to cross in the world.
Well, I think that's definitely a rumor that we can start and give something to. Yeah, I mean, I read an article that said that it was the most expensive water in the world to cross. Fact check, I didn't actually read an article. I just made that up.
Did Braxton finally get his fish?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He's been bitching at me, starting to get a bit upset. So I paid for them 6 months ago. When are you sending my fucking fish? And I was like, come on, man. come on, be reasonable here. You know, like. I did send them overnight courier.
Good work, man. Well done.
That was good. But yeah, one guy got 2 boxes and about 18 kilos of fish, and so that was
18 kilos of fish or 18 kilos of water holding the fish?
18 kilos of water holding fish, yep. But yeah, it was just, I was on the floor of the fish room. There was just water everywhere. There was bags everywhere, and it was just, yeah, I was just like, I'm just not set up for this. I just don't like this. You know, I think if I was shipping more often, I'd have some sort of area to actually do it in.
What, you mean some sort of a system?
Yeah.
Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah. I probably also could have helped myself a little bit by getting some buckets and stuff so the bags weren't just sitting on the floor and falling over and water going everywhere, you know, like, but hey, it's all right. So hopefully those fish arrive safe and sound today. And that's something that I don't do very often, is ship fish anymore. And I remembered why. And then when I showed up, and it's always a mission too, because the courier always comes to Helensville early. You're supposed to get there at 4:30, but he's there at 4:15. So you're always battling to get there on time, and then you get there and the courier's waiting. And the lady behind the counter was not the most efficient processor of courier tickets, and had to measure every single box to the last millimeter and input it all into the computer with one finger, and then type the address in with one finger. And the courier driver standing behind me with tapping his foot on the ground, wanting to get out of there early. And yeah, it was just not a fun time.
It's all your fault. Someone didn't get to go home early. It's all your fault.
Exactly. But yeah.
They see you coming every 6 months, and there's just a massive like sigh as you're getting out of your car. The dread.
I just got a message from the guy, and it says, it looks like the poor bastards are sitting at the Helensville post shop.
Oh, no.
Oh.
At least you can collect that.
They definitely are not, because I watched the courier driver wheel them out on a trolley and put them in his van. So this is just a classic thing. This is another thing that this really grinds my gears. We should do a grinds my gears fucking episode, right? But anyway,
it was on the freaking list, but nobody wanted to do it.
Oh, I do want to do it. But courier companies, like, they have this system of apparently tracking parcels, but they don't fucking use it. And then you ring them up to find your parcel, and they'll go, oh, we've got scans that you can't see. I'll check the system. It's like, well, if you've got scans, let me see them so I know where my fucking parcel is. You've got one job. You bloody idiots. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating. You're like, why have you got scans that are happening that could tell me? And then you order something off AliExpress and you get 16,000 scans of when, you know, Nigel's touched it here at this desk and someone else has touched it over there in the corner of the room. You know, like, oh. But anyway.
We've lost Ryan. Ryan's done.
It's like, I say this it's like the other day I rung up and someone said to me, they said, I was going to hire toilets for the wedding. And they go, it costs $1,000 plus a $200 bond. And I said, okay, is the bond refundable? They're like, no.
What?
It's just a bond. And I was like, well, why not say it's $1,200 then? Oh, it's just our policy for toilets. We've got a bond on them now. I was like, well, it's not a bond. It's just the price. But anyway, She didn't understand what I was saying. But yeah, why are you so stupid? So courier companies, why are you so stupid? This is saying it's in Helensville, but it's not, because I watched it leave Helensville, and you've got magical scans that no one else can see. So
have you just decided to drop your wall with Auckland Glass and have now targeting courier companies?
I challenge NZ Post to a rap battle. Yeah, a challenge NZ Post to a rap battle.
Are you targeting NZ Post specifically, or are you going after small fry like Aramex first?
Oh, we don't speak of Aramex. We don't speak of Aramex. I hate Aramex too. Oh God, don't get me started.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I find quite often, at least with the couriers down here, it'll say that it's still at the destination, even though it's with the courier and it still gets delivered. So
it does. Yeah.
quite often it'll be, oh yeah, it's in Helensville, for example,
Mm.
and next thing there's a knock on your door and it's on my front doorstep.
But the thing is that everyone along the way has to scan it to get paid. So they know where it is, but they don't put that on the system. Why would they not put that on the system? It'll save them like a gazillion phone. It'll probably save them money by doing that. Because people
Have they tried turning it on and off again?
And also, speaking of Aramex, I think that feeling when you order something and then someone sends you an Aramex tracking number is probably the most despondent feeling in the world, right? Because you're like, oh my God, am I going to get this? Am I going to get this year? Am I better to just go start looking for it in a week underneath the hedges around town because it might have just randomly shown up there? It's more likely to show up there than it is at my house. Like, it's just, oh, I hate it. It's so bad. Yeah. Anyway, courier companies. But yeah, I seen some fish and courier companies suck. That is the moral of my story. You've seen lots of fish, Cam?
Not as much as I'd like, but yeah, I do see some fish pretty much most days. It's not fun either way. Even from someone that does it on a regular basis, I don't particularly enjoy it. Not so much the process of it, it's everything else that goes with it.
Helen says there's a war happening against Aramex in Christchurch at present. The media have found a story and so many people are wading in with hatred. Well, give the media a link to our podcast because, man, I'm on board with this. I'll be the public face of this war against Aramex. I hate the bastards. Someone I was pissed off one day and someone sent me a tracking number with Aramex and I actually emailed them back and said, you should have told me you see with Aramex and I wouldn't have ordered from you. And they were like, oh, sorry. Because they had I think I bit myself in the ass because everyone else had a more expensive shipping, so I went with the cheapest shipping, and then I ended up getting Aramex.
Because they're so cheap, it's not funny.
Yeah.
Like they're $1.50, $2 cheaper than everybody else, which is quite a significant amount of money when you're bulk packaging a lot of stuff every day. It adds up pretty quickly.
Mm.
It does, yeah, and the price of shipping in New Zealand is horrendous.
Oh, insane! It's ridiculous.
I got
Don't. Just
what's that?
I'm just walking myself off the cliff here. I don't want to be up there where you are.
Anyway, yeah,
okay.
Well, I think everyone knows we live in the best country in the world, and it's worth paying a gazillion times more than we should for everything. Done.
Cool. What's the next section of our podcast to go on to then, please, Ryan?
Listen to mail.
Okay. Oh, did we get some this week?
Nah.
Oh, did he not send us a message?
You said someone was going to send us a message, but they did not.
Oh.
There was so much hype around this. I was really looking forward.
Yeah, that's it basically. I'm trying to get in. Yeah, I'm trying to make some listener mail, but I haven't actually got anywhere. So there you go. We need to.
I had a message from somebody on the Fish Room page asking for our email because he couldn't find it, and he said he had some listener mail for us. Oh, that's a shame.
This segment is starting to suck. I'm going to have to start
stripping. Or is that
making some? That's Matt's job, definitely.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've also noticed that Matt's name is not bald. I'm impressed with that.
Thank you.
I
I
also think we should start a segment of pimping Matt out on the thing and trying to find him a fishy girlfriend, because he's the only single one of us here. So, and he can pole dance and stuff. So there you go, ladies. And you can check out your plumbing too. So there you go.
What a plug! What a plug!
There you go. He works in a plumbing store, but he's not a plumber. So you're actually kind of fucking useless. You can get stuff cheap, but you can't fit it.
I can fit it. I just can't guarantee it's not going to Leak.
You can fit it, but you might have a really leak in your wall.
Yeah.
It's just fun. We keep aquariums. We're not scared of water. Just
No,
mop
exactly.
it up, All right. And then the next thing was, because we've got no listener mail, we need to reinvigorate Auckland Glass, I think. Random question.
That's the job for you, mate. You're the one waging war with them.
I'm going to wage war against Aramex next. That's my next ticket. Press start to begin. Ooh. That's dumb. That random question generator was like dumb. The dumbest one I've ever seen before in my life.
Do you know what would be a really good idea? Instead of doing this while we're in the middle of the podcast, do it about 2 minutes before we start the podcast and just have it ready to go.
That would require him to be on time to begin with.
I was thinking about doing that this morning. What topic can you bring up at a family gathering to instantly get everyone fired up?
Religion, music, politics. The 3 things in the world you can start an argument with anybody with.
What's the number one?
Probably politics. You can always find someone that agrees with you or disagrees with you.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? You going with politics too? That was a boring answer.
Politics as well. It depends though. It's only on certain parts, like certain sides of the family. Others, you would probably just bring up sport, and that'll get them going.
Don't you dare start talking about the Warriors like that.
No, I said sport. I said sport.
I'm warning you.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think our one would definitely be politics too. There's some members of the family you just don't. If you go there, then you're going to a really dark and horrible place, and yeah.
But there's absolutely a golden triangle if you want to start an argument with anybody. It's music, religion, or politics. One of those 3 angles, you'll be able to pick an argument with absolutely anybody in the world easily. Everyone has got a little passion point on one of those.
Music, you reckon?
Absolutely.
Music's like happy stuff. Music makes people happy. It doesn't make people fight.
Not unless you say Kanye sucks and they really love Kanye.
It does.
Well, there you go. So that's not the angle to start an argument with you with.
Have you guys got radio down there?
Has to
Tell you what, we don't have.
We
don't have Aramex. No, we do, but yeah.
I wish we didn't have Aramex. I wish the world didn't have Aramex. Damn, I hate that place. I hate those people. Anyway, you keep. Yeah, I think that's how you can get me riled up. Is just mention Aramex, and I'll, I definitely get a lot of likes on Facebook posts where people say, "Hey, I've got a parcel that's supposed to be delivered by Aramex," and asking advice, and I make up stories about where it could be. I just tell them to go and look in the ocean because that's probably more likely. They'll just find it washed up on the beach than getting it delivered by Aramex and things like that. So they do bring some joy in that moment, but the joy of receiving what you've been sent, not so much.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at a comment.
Rainbow puke gravel. Well, why the hate, Ryan?
We're going to have to be careful, though. Like, your hate for Aramex, we could end up with a defamation case against us.
Well, they do say there's no such publicity as bad publicity, so maybe they'll sponsor us. and the slogan could be Aramex, as serious and reliable as the Three Idiots.
Maybe we can give them an opportunity to prove to us that they're not as bad as we all think.
And we'll just start sending fish with them, eh?
Well, they can provide the 3 of us with some free courier tickets to trial their product, and then we'll review it again in a few weeks' time.
But yes, and as long as they cover the cost of the fish that die. Actually, no, I wouldn't ever send fish with Aramex. Fuck that. You're a fucking idiot. You know. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's get on to our 69 episode, right? What are we doing? You've talked about
American cichlids.
all about American cichlids, and you also said that they're New World cichlids.
Run us through that.
Yeah, not from the supermarket.
So you can't get them from New World?
No, probably not. So, to my understanding, the term New World cichlid is the common colloquialism for American-based cichlids. I am assuming, and it is a pure assumption, that has come about from African cichlids being Old World cichlids, or more of the original-based cichlids, and the New World ones being the Americans.
So
that's just a guess. I might be
would you say that's because the Americans think that they're the best, so essentially their whole country is the New World, like the face of the New World, or is it something else?
I think that might be something totally irrelevant to the topic, or totally irrelevant to the subject matter, but maybe.
Okay, all right.
There you go. Well, Rebecca has answered the question perfectly. New World because it is the New World. America is the New World.
Well, there you go.
Oh, look, there's some more.
Neotropical. It's about finding America and not finding Nemo. There we go.
There's also
Cam's just jumped into the chat rather than jumping into the podcast himself. So.
Because he's still in his tidy whities from sleep last night, and he's a little bit embarrassed from being on camera in tidy whities. That's just my guess.
There's definitely some context to that story, but anyway. So what I know about American cichlids is I've ended up going down the rabbit hole in America, and these guys go and catch them in like lakeside drains and put them in their tanks. They catch like Texas and all sorts of cool stuff in the drains, and African cichlids and all sorts, actually, because I think their environment is obviously conducive to a lot of fish living anywhere because it's warm. In some states, I guess, because we can't make a generalization of the whole of America, because some states it snows. So, it's so big, it's like a whole new world for us. But
it's a whole new world. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
I think there's a lot around Florida. There is a lot of fish just chilling out in drains, and actually to the point where they're considered pests. I mean, well, they've basically fucked their whole. All their waterways are basically fucked with exotic. I call them exotic because they're not native or whatever to their country, but yeah.
And that is probably why that we have MPI saying, no, you can't import these fish.
But they won't survive.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just... so yes, their whole fresh waters, all their waterways are stuffed and stuff. But so we're talking about the ones that actually are supposed to be there, or were there
the ones that are meant to be in our aquariums,
and the ones that originally come from America. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What experience have you got with American cichlids, Matt? Like, you've delved into them before?
Yeah, so I've had everything from Apistos, Rams, up to Jags, Oscars, so a fair bit.
Amazonian fish, American fish too, or are they covered in the New World thing? Are they?
They're American cichlids. This is just a broad American thing. We probably could have broken it down to South American and North American, Central American, but we didn't because that's not how we roll.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's easy then. I can talk about that. That's good. Yeah. The fish are with courier for delivery, apparently. So.
Sorry, I'm back.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
we didn't miss you. It's all right.
Fuck.
So funny story. One of the first fish that I bred, and hopefully they're American, is a firemouth cichlid.
They are cool.
And I bought 2 of them at like an inch long, maybe 4 centimeters long, and they ended up being a pair, and they bred in a 2-foot tank. So, probably too small. Probably the tank was too small. The fish were probably too small, but they bred and I got babies, so I was happy, and I liked them. They were cool fish.
I've also got a cool story. The first pair of fish that I ever had were blue acaras, also in a 2-foot tank that spawned in there, and were also way too big a fish for a way too small a tank. The things we learn.
Yeah, there was in a pet shop in Wanganui, there was a big tank, probably 6-8 foot long, just full of blue acaras, and I used to be fascinated with them. They looked so much nicer than the blue acara. I mean, in my memory, I was very young. They looked so much nicer than the blue acaras we can get today. They just seemed so much bigger, and they almost had like lightning bolt sort of color all over them and stuff. They were cool as.
I learned a very, very good lesson early on with those fish that sitting in an aquarium on top of a speaker or very close to a speaker and having a raging party is not a good option. And I apologize to those acaras that are no longer with us. That is my fault and solely on me.
Did you put a tank on top of a big, massive speaker and play the music?
May or may not have. It's because I was listening to Kanye West, and nobody likes Kanye West, and they decided that was it, game over.
Did the fish tell you that they were totally addicted to bass? And they just can't help it? No.
They were clearly chasing that bass dragon and then got too much. But yeah. That was a lesson that I learned very quickly, that speakers and aquariums aren't a good mix, and the doof wasn't good. So why I didn't click that straight away is beyond me. But you do dumb stuff and you don't know what you're doing.
Especially when like their whole thing is sensing like vibrations and things and water, and then you go and put some horrendous vibrations in there. They're probably not going to like it.
No, they didn't. And I haven't forgotten that lesson. That is definitely a lesson that I've learned and I have not repeated. So unfortunate for those fish. It just happened. We're talking 20-ish years ago. Big apologies.
Well, there you go. Just because now we are like gods and do everything right doesn't mean we've always done everything right,
Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes as long as you learn from them.
I've definitely committed some horrendous crimes against fish in the past, but anyway. So yes, firemouths. I like firemouths. I've kept firemouths. I've kept all sorts of pistos and stuff over the years. Those little keyhole cichlids are pretty cool.
Oh, they're real cool. I've got a pair of them at the moment. I really like them. Yeah.
The ones that I like the most, it's actually someone posted up a photo the other day of them, as those checkerboard cichlids. The real long, skinny ones. I've kept them several times and really enjoyed them, but never actually managed to breed them. But I really liked them. They were cool. And I think that I used to like the old pistos, how you'd have a pair and the female would be like brown and then she'd vanish and then she'd appear like bright banana yellow, with eggs or fry just swimming around. It's pretty cool.
Before we go too much further, we've got a question from the floor that we should probably answer. Between breeding fish, selling fish, and podcasting about fish, are you guys ever not thinking about fish? My answer is no, unless the Warriors are wrong.
But even then, they're not doing anything, so you're still thinking about fish.
Pretty much, yeah.
Even though my fiance is usually positioned right next to the tank, so when I'm looking at her, I'm actually looking at the tank. I spend lots of time thinking about her and paying attention to her as well. That's the correct answer. She's not even here, and I'm already.
But not the truthful answer.
Yeah, I definitely got in trouble. I get in trouble for, last night went out the fish room, didn't come until 10 o'clock, and she's already in bed. So yeah, that's right. Fish are cool. Why would you not like fish?
Yeah.
Someone else
I
asked a
actually
no-no
said-
question. Someone else asked a no-no question before in the chat. I saw someone else what the water bills were like, and I'm like,
Oh, I thought we were talking about stability.
you never ever talk about water or power bills with fish. It's always something else, you know.
Yeah. I actually in my office here at work, so I have a laptop, and then I've got 3 screens. One screen is dedicated for fish, so there is always a tab open on something, whether it's looking at what people have got at the moment or researching. That one screen is just used for that.
Is that because it's not connected to the work internet, so you can look at dodgy fish stuff?
Oh no, it's connected. Yeah, it's just convenient.
That's a whole different system, that one, that he uses for that. But anyway,
I'm not biting.
Yeah. I've definitely been like driving around and then thought, "Ooh, I wonder about this for fish," and then pulled over and Googled it.
But back to the topic that we're really failing at talking about.
Yeah.
Big American cichlids. Have you dealt with them, Ryan, or are you more in the smaller ones?
The biggest one that I've had is the one I can't pronounce, is Nigaragulums, whatever they are.
Yeah.
And they got to, like, again, a horrendous crime against fish. I went in to see Eric at Wet Pets when I was like about 15, 16, and he'd spawned them, and he just netted out a whole bag of them and said, "Here, you can have these, but the only condition is I don't want them back." And then I put them in a 3-foot tank, which was a big tank for me. Yeah, at the time, it was one of those massive tanks that you see on Facebook Marketplace all the time. And then they got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I went to the Air Force, and my mum looked after them for ages for me.
They really are.
They live forever. They live for a long time. I mean, they got probably 25, 30 centimeters long in this 3-foot tank. They got big. But they're a cool fish, yeah. And I don't know if they're around at the moment. They'll come in again, probably.
Yeah, I think there's a couple people holding the bag with them just from working on various Facebook pages. Is at least, I think, one person that might be holding a bag of them at the moment. I use that term loosely because clearly they're not living in a bag. But they definitely have disappeared over the last few years, which is a shame. I don't think they're quite to the point of like CPDs or some of the cichlids that you are dealing with. I think there is more of them out there, but they are becoming a little bit harder to find.
Yeah. What about? I don't know a lot about.
How do you guys go in terms of keeping them as well? Just Americans in general. So, like,
you put them in water in a tank.
That's no. So, have you had any?
What's my important information?
Yeah. Like, have you had any struggles? Like, I myself have struggled with them in the past, especially down in the Manawatu. Our water changes so much. So sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's soft.
You're talking apistos and stuff. Or what are you talking?
Or just in general, like in general, you're dealing with Africans and they require a higher pH, and Americans are generally going to be a little bit lower.
Water usually comes out of the tap harder than softer. Just I think they do that to make the pipes and stuff last longer, and that from memory or something. But yeah, so yes, stability. Not hard, no. Oh.
Got him.
So what about stability? Do you like stability, Ryan? Do you use stability? It's one of the best products around, isn't it? Stability. Let's talk about stability.
Keeping your water parameters not fluctuating is important with them.
Stable, you could say.
Stable.
Yeah.
But not
stable.
stability.
I don't even want to go anywhere near that word. Discus. Oh my god. Yeah. Well. Anyway. But so what do we? I guess we have to kind of narrow it down a little bit more if we're going to talk about what sort of environment they need, right? Because if we're talking about a pistos, it's completely different to an Oscar or to a Nigaragulum or Severum or something like that, you know. So and to me, an American cichlid is something like a cyclosoma, like your firemouths and convicts, and I think Oscars are from America. Is that right? No, they're from like Peru or something, aren't they? No.
Which is America?
I was thinking like America, like you say, Central America.
America, fuck yeah!
That's sort of America.
Let's not start that one in the chat. What is America and what's not?
Well, Americans definitely know what is Canada, especially if you call them vice versa. They don't like that. So American cichlid tanks. There's not a lot of American cichlid keepers in New Zealand. Like a lot of people keep Oscars and stuff, the odd Oscar, but they keep them with other stuff. I don't know if there's anyone actually doing. I know that a friend of mine has a whole bunch of those. He's doing like Texas and stuff. He's got Texas. He's got those other ones that start with C that I've forgotten.
Texas chocolates.
No, the
Texas are cool fish.
Just trying to do red, but they're a hybrid, aren't they? Is that right? You get the red ones and the.
I believe Texas are legit, and there is ones that have been hybridized across the line.
Yeah. There's an awful lot of hybrid American cichlids as well, actually, which is quite funny.
I'm just gonna pull you back a little bit. You're saying there's not a lot of people keeping American cichlids. I think if you're in the world of American cichlids, you go, man, there's lots of people keeping American cichlids. Because you're in the world of African cichlids for the best part. Because you don't really realize that other people are keeping other stuff, if that makes sense. It's like you forget because you're such an arrogant African cichlid keeper that there's actually a world past Lake Malawi and Lake Tanganyika.
Well, I'm just thinking that on the tropical fish forums and stuff, I don't see a lot of people posting stuff about American cichlids or asking questions about American cichlids or putting out photos of American cichlids. It seems to be like a lot of community tanks and that sort of thing. But again, if we're saying that a pistos and stuff are counted, a lot of them will have a pistos or rams in there. So, but yeah, I was just thinking more of the big boys, like Cam.
Convicts and parrot cichlids will be all in that group too.
Convicts and parrots will be very common.
Yeah.
Severums will probably be relatively common too, wouldn't they? Is that right?
Yeah. And I guess you're forgetting Discus because there's plenty of them around.
Yeah, but the best thing you can do with a Discus is just
frisbee it.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Electric Blue Jack Dempsey's just seen the comment. That's like PTSD to me right there.
Yeah.
They're a cool fish. They just don't have a long.
Very cool fish. They're just weak as all hell, right?
Yeah. I have tried with them, and I've tried with them a number of times, and it's heaps and heaps of electric blue rams hanging around because I pushed like 400 or so of them out into the world about a year and a half ago. So there's plenty of them around.
And they were NZ bred good ones too, weren't they? That's cool. That's cool.
But there's black knights that are coming through. Angelfish, as Helen just said, it everywhere.
Yeah, I was thinking of angelfish.
I think you're probably quite wrong, Ryan. It's just that you're an arrogant African cichlid keeper and you don't think there's anything else other than that.
I was specifically thinking of like the big American cichlids, like
the big nasties.
I wasn't thinking about the Amazonian stuff.
Okay.
You weren't thinking, basically. You weren't thinking.
I wasn't defining my thoughts clearly.
Can we get on record you admitting that you were wrong?
Nah.
There's a couple of big monster fish keepers down this way with bigger tanks with red devils and Texas and all that kind of stuff. I'm aware of a few people down in Christchurch that have got red terrors and all those things as well, so they're definitely around.
You're a bit of a Jaguar fan too, aren't you?
I love Jags. I just don't want to keep Jags.
So you just said you love them. If a listener was to send you
No,
would you accept it
no,
as a gift?
do not send. No, please, nobody give me any Jags.
I actually know someone sitting on about 50 of them at the moment, so I'm sure we
Please
could
do
arrange
not give me
just
any
a couple
Jags.
spares.
No, they're a nice
Do you want
fish.
little ones or
They
big
are
ones?
a nice fish. They are a really nice fish, and I really like them. I just don't want
I
them
wouldn't
right
say
now.
I wouldn't say they're a nice fish. I'd say they're a cool
They
fish.
are a really nice looking fish.
They're a cool
They're a
fish,
nice
but they're
looking
not a
fish.
nice
They're
fish.
an arsehole fish.
They're an asshole fish, and they
Yeah,
get
okay.
big and they eat stuff. And they kill stuff. But
Yep.
they are cool.
That is all true.
And every time I see a photo of someone they get quite commonly bred, and people, oh look, my Jags are breeding, and I'm just like, oh god, here we go again.
So if anyone's listening and they have Jags, send them to the fish room, and
No, do not.
they will happily update
You
you.
will get a return to sender.
The
Do
last,
we consider red devils as American cichlids?
they're more American than anything else.
Yeah.
But I guess that would put them in the New World group, and flower horns would be the same.
Oh, flower horns, yep. Although most of them will be coming out of Asia, but they did originate from American cichlids, so yep, they count.
So they'd be considered American cichlids.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to Ryan about those the other day.
Flower horns.
And just, there's some awesome colors and stuff that you can get overseas, but obviously here we just don't get anything like that.
So my question is, do we not get anything like that, or do the fish that we get in are still too small and they're not showing that color?
We're not allowed to import flower horns to start with, so we're
Are
stuck
we?
with what we've got. Yeah,
Are
we're
we?
not allowed to. No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Don't know where the ones we got came from, but we're not allowed to import them.
I did not know that.
So even though they're a hybrid, well, again, from talking to people, I had Frank come out to the my fish room probably 6 months ago. He was trying to convince me to convert my fish room through to flower horns because he's giving up. But a local guy actually bought all his flower horns and tanks. Haven't heard from him for a while. Actually, I should send him a message, see how he's going. But a few other friends of mine have had them and said they're weak as and they just die and they're not very strong. They're just prone to a lot of issues. He was trying to convince me to take one to feed my cows to, which I just don't want one. So no. But yeah, they're horrendously aggressive, But also you see the ones overseas and they're cool. They got some cool. And just like everything else, everyone's trying to get the ones with the biggest cocks. So,
Yeah,
and
I'm internally enjoying
that. Cock is spelled K-O-K, not the other way,
I'm enjoying that.
Good, yeah. I don't feel like we've actually added anything intelligent in this whole episode. Like I feel like this has just been complete.
I thought you might be a little bit better at this.
I tried to start the conversation with talking about some struggles. You guys just moved on from it.
But you've just given this topic, which is like 400 gazillion fish, and said, "Oh, have you had any struggles with any of these fish?" It's like, well, you didn't really.
Well, I have to keep it so wide because your brain is so narrow in terms of keeping anything outside of it. But I can't narrow down what you might have.
Hey, there's not often I see a really nice Apisto and don't want to keep it. Like I was at a guy's fish room the other day and he had McMaster Eye that looked really awesome and Borelli Eye, and I was like, damn, I could keep them again. They are so cool. But then I just remembered the pain of them just dropping dead randomly every so often. So I was like, oh nah, don't want to do that again.
So why do they drop dead so often, Ryan?
I don't actually know. If I knew, then I'd fix it.
Yeah.
But
is it something that you're doing?
Could be. Could definitely be. And Africa has jewel cichlids. No one wants jewel cichlids and doesn't regret it. Right. I like jewels. They're cool. And angelfish are cool too. I don't care what you say. Angelfish are cool. They just not really housed in the right environment and cause trouble. But like you look at some awesome ultims, or I'm a big fan of those black veil tail ones. They're cool as, like you did.
Yeah, I had one a few years ago, and it was like long sweeping, almost like a Dementor, like of Harry Potter, like that long cloak look to it.
Yeah, that's cool, eh?
It was
And ultims
dope.
are just badass, I think angels are cool as. I definitely would do an angel tank at some stage. This tank here would actually be a perfect angel tank, wouldn't it? Look at the height of it. So,
Right,
you
next
know.
week, change it.
I think angels are definitely one of those fish that just aren't kept correctly. They're way too often kept in small 2 foot, 3 foot tanks, and they need that room to stretch and swim into to expand properly.
Yeah, you see a lot of them with fin injuries, broken fins and stuff, and a lot of that is like you say, incorrect environment.
And bad breeding as well was the combination, I think.
Yep.
And that's the thing that I hate the most about angels, is going into shops and seeing all these bent and mangled ones, and you're like, oh, but I guess that's just a quality thing. They're still fish. They're still cool.
There's a really good breeder based up your way, Ryan, and some of the stuff that they have coming out is quite cool. They've actually just had some red devil veil tail.
Is that that's fantastic? Is it?
Yeah.
Pei. I don't know how to say her name. Pei Ching Li. But she's they've got cool stuff. But she actually did a presentation at the Fish Club meeting. I missed it, on angelfish genetics, which would have been interesting if you're into it. But I think it was very heavy.
Yeah. If you ever want to understand the genetics of them and stuff like that, just flick them a message, and it's quite.
It is quite cool.
Eye-opening.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
They've got a pretty cool shop as well. Yep.
The real question is it anglefish? Is it supposed to be anglefish, or is it angelfish?
100% angle that somebody's just misspelt really originally, and now they become angels, because those fuckers are not angels. 100% angle fish.
So that's our angle from now on. We are no longer calling them angels. We are going to anglefish them.
Anglefish them?
Does anyone actually have anything intelligent to add to this conversation? Just my
Well, it
question.
depends on the line of questioning.
To this topic.
Well, it depends on the line of questioning. I was just thinking.
I think this is probably one of the worst episodes. It's not as bad as that "What fish would you like to be" episode. That was just like a crime against humanity. But
I've got a feeling that I might be the one that's holding the most American cichlids at the moment. Just thinking about it.
100%.
I've got like 6 or 7 different pairs of various American cichlids hanging around. Plus,
you've got a lot of pistos, eh?
I've got no pistos at the moment.
I thought you had heaps of them.
No, I got no pistos.
What they do? Drop dead.
They went shit on me here, or didn't spawn, or I sold them.
They do that. Yeah.
I've got Bolivian rams, a pair of Bolivian rams, a pair of T-bars.
Did you keep any of your blue rams, or electric blue rams, or gold rams, or anything like that when they come through?
I moved all the electric blues on. I've got a couple tanks full of German rams at the moment. A couple tanks of black rams at the moment. My keyholes, T-bars, which I think I might have just said. I got some butterfly fish, a pair of butterfly fish, and a few tanks of them from Helen the other week, plus the blue polar parrots. So I've got about 8 or 9 or 10 different varieties of American dwarf Americans just hanging around at the moment.
Yeah. And they're seriously cool fish. I think they're good because they're good for community tanks. They get bigger, so they've got a bit of personality. They have to have a little bit of attitude to them. They can sort of defend something, but not really destroy the world like the big fellas will. So yeah, I think they're cool fish. I like them.
A bit more compatible.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, still holding the bag with some Jags and some Oscars.
What's that?
And I'm still holding the bag with some Jags and.
So you sold them?
Yeah, it's not being collected yet.
No. Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have either of you guys kept uaru before?
I have. They are very cool.
I have not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a breeding pair for a little while, and it was they were very cool to have. Yeah. And pretty hard. Well, hard to find a successful breeding pair because a lot of them are infertile.
Didn't know that.
Are they? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought they were all good.
No. So more often than not, I believe from the research that I did, it's the males that won't be fertile. And yeah, so to come across a successful breeding pair can be quite difficult. They recommend that you start off with up to 10, let them break away, and trial and error from there.
They're quite they're a little bit. I haven't kept them, but from what I gather, they're a little bit sensitive, a little bit highly strung. They're kind of. I think of them more like Discus kind of thing. They're kind of like that sort of thing, or are they quite tough? I don't know.
Personality or
what's that?
Personality or in how the tank parameters and stuff.
Well, when I've gone in there, when I've seen them, they've been kind of a bit shy and sort of hiding out the back, and they just look a bit soft and a bit fucking like they need a lot of work, or they need fairly soft water. Are they soft alkaline fish, or what are they? Yeah, soft acidic fish, or yeah.
Soft. My ones were really cool, real super interactive fish. They were actually probably one of the easiest ones that I've kept. Yeah, I would. The second I walk into the fish room, like they'd be swimming out to the front. Yeah, so I never personally had that problem. And when they're breeding as well, the color changes in them is really cool. Kind of freaky as well. The eyes turning like red.
I had a group of.
You sure that wasn't some other extramural activities you're up to at the time?
100%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I had a group of 6 or so, and they went absolutely fine. And then all of a sudden, one day, I saw one of them had really weird mark on its lips, and then the next day it's kind of like just this massive growth that exploded, and within the week all of them were gone, but they were the only fish in the tank that got it. There was angelfish in there and corridors. There was no dramas, anything else, just the group or waru within a week got some sort of weird infection in their mouth, and that was it. So yeah, I don't quite know what happened in there. So
bugger. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes stuff like that happens, and you just never figure out what it is or what it was. You know.
Yeah.
I've had that happen so many times with stuff, or people contact me about that. The only fish in my tank that gets this is this, and I'm just like, well, I don't know. Obviously, something you're doing or something in that tank doesn't agree with those fish.
Yeah, yeah, and like they've been in there for about a year or so. Like, everything had been fine, and then all of a sudden they just went, "Nah, don't like you, don't like this water, don't like something," and then all of them just went and turned over. So yeah,
yeah, they're a cool fish. I'd call them cool. Seem to be around a lot more too than they used to be.
Yeah, they get imported a lot more now, which is nice.
Yeah,
I think people underestimate or kind of forget about sevens as well. When they get to full size, particularly the orange or the red ones, when they get to full size, I think they're really nice looking fish.
Yeah,
really colourful.
Sevens are cool, and you can get the red shoulder ones and all sorts of different varieties too, eh?
Yeah, definitely a cool fish.
So do we actually have anything to add about American cichlids?
Probably not.
Ryan's going to dedicate a tank to angelfish. That's what we've learned.
I'm definitely considering dedicating a tank or two to some community fish, but not angelfish.
Whoa!
That's the start. That's the start. Yeah, I heard that too. We've got that on record.
Are you saying that the way forward isn't just Africans?
Well, no, it has a now that I've got this tank in my partner's office, all the kids at school that want fish come to me now for advice and to help them. And I don't have any fish to give them because they've got like 1 and 2 foot tanks. So I can't give them African cichlids for that tank, and I'm not going to give them shellies. So I was just thinking get some guppies or some guppies and some platies or something just to give to the kids because I got bristle noses to give to them. But I got nothing else.
I'll send you some good ones. I'll send you some.
I've been considering it, but then I'm thinking like all I want is mongrels really that just throw all sorts of crap. And the kids can just come choose what colours they like. I don't need like fancy ones. So yeah. Don't know. I haven't done it yet because I don't want to dedicate a tank to it. I was thinking just a bucket on the floor with a sponge filter in it.
But you've got a 69th nice tank that you haven't filled up yet.
Yeah, but that'll be for Africans.
Boring. Don't you have enough? There's something different.
You're trying to tell someone like a Pokemon connector that he hasn't captured them all yet. You just, you've got to catch them all. Got to catch them all, mate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry, I'm back again.
They've been dropping off all morning.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. I don't know why. There's some guys working in the building, so I think they're messing around with.
Well, at least someone's working.
How dare people do some work when they're at work? How dare they?
Well, they don't work here. They've just come to do some work here.
Ah, right.
And I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I'm done with this. I feel like we didn't actually. I thought this would be a good one, but it was not.
Yeah, well, you didn't bring the noise. This is all your fault.
You got too caught up on Aramex, and that all went downhill from there.
Yeah, sorry. It did suck a bit of my energy out. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. I apologize, Aramex. You are the greatest courier company in the world, and I love you. I'm sorry.
And if anyone out there works for them.
And all courier companies are awesome. I think it's great that you have hidden scans that we can't see, so we don't know where our parcels are, and we have to ring you for them and annoy you and sit on hold, and then get told we can track it online, but we can't track it online because you don't scan it and put it on there. So, thank you. I salute you.
Before we disappear, I've got a question for you two.
No.
That was a hot topic. This was a hot topic in our chat yesterday, and you two morons couldn't work it out. Sorry, I'll rephrase it. You two idiots couldn't work out what I was trying to say.
I think we worked out exactly what you were trying to say. You just English isn't your first, skill set.
I made it pretty clear when you said ask us. No, I was like, no, I'm not going to ask you until tomorrow because you've got a whole week to work it out. And you're like, ooh, tomorrow's not a week, like real idiots that you are. So, my question is: recently, I've been speaking to a few people, and they're talking about like how many fish they've been breeding. Like I've had confirmed 500 species and stuff like that. Over the course of the next week, I'd like you to and myself work out how many species of different fish that we've all spawned, just to have a random tally up of who's spawned what and how many and all that kind of stuff. This is not a pissing competition or a dick swinging competition. I'm just curious to know how many fish we've all spawned each. Okay. That's all it was.
So how many?
I've got no idea, but that's all right.
Yeah, and I've got no idea as well. So I was like, hey, I sort of walked around my fish and I was like, I've spawned there. I was like, oh, okay, so there's a few. So just randomly tally stuff, writing it down, and just have us a random number by next week.
Ryan will be
a random number or a factual number.
Hopefully as accurate as possible.
Well, you just said a random number. That just means we just get a random number generator and spit it out.
It's okay. It's all right. It's under control.
It's all right. We've got some parcels arriving with Aramex today. We can calm.
You know exactly what I was asking. So we can talk about this.
I also someone has actually just said about mud skippers. We can get those.
Yeah, they've come in again recently.
And there are some in the North Island.
There's been a few. I think 2
Angel
or 3
fuzz.
shipments. coming
Two
in the last
Sorry, 2 or 3 different types come in.
2 or 3 different shipments in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
What
Cool.
I've found really interesting recently is watching the lists and how they work. That these fish that haven't been here for ages, or these things that haven't been here for ages, one importer brings them in, and all of a sudden the other guys jump onto them as well. Despite the fact saying to multiple different importers, "Can you get these? Can you get these? Can you get these? Can you get these? Can you get these?" Oh no, we're not going to. One gets them, and they all get them. So if you're an importer and you're listening, pay attention to what the shops are asking you.
Sometimes it appears to me like the importers don't actually really care, and they're out of touch with reality and what people actually want, which is the one thing they should actually be in touch with. And it seems that they're always just like, nah, we're going to order the same fish. We always fish from the same suppliers. We always get them from. And then, like you say, all of a sudden someone gets mudfish and or whatever fish and mud skippers in, and then everyone goes, "Oh my god, we should have done that," But everyone's been asking for them for the last 2 years, 3 years. It's like, They don't know what everyone else is doing, what rather than what people want.
Granted, there could be periods that exporters don't have them and they become available again, but I find it really interesting that, we get asked for them all of a sudden. One person goes, "Okay, we'll give it a go," and then the rest of them bring them in.
Yeah. It's also like, come on, guys, can you not just bring something else in that we want? Then bring those in, and you bring something else in. Checkerboard cichlids. Yep, I agree, Helen. They're cool.
Yep.
Cool fish.
I think one of the wholesalers is currently holding checkerboards as well at the moment, from memory, or just recently had them from memory.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be cool.
There you go, Helen. Send Cam a message. He will get some.
Cool.
So,
all right. Well, I'm going to go and eat some food.
Next week's podcast. Are you going to tease next week's podcast, Ryan? Do your job properly.
Next week's podcast, we're going to be talking about a really exciting topic, and I'm super enthused for it and really excited. And it is going to be
the difference between volume of an aquarium and the footprint of an aquarium, and the importance of these two different definitions.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Mind blowing. I thought it was about liters and gallons. Is there something else?
This would have been a perfect lead into our conversation about frontoses and angelfish and tropheus earlier, but no. Anyway.
Well, we can go through it all again because I've already forgotten what we talked about. That's the great thing about having a memory like a goldfish.
Want to know a fun fact?
Oh, they don't actually have a 3-second memory.
No, goldfish have a longer memory span now than what human beings do. They have a 9-second memory span, and we now currently have an 8-second memory span. So goldfish can remember better than what we have, a better memory span than what we do.
Well, there you go. I've already forgotten what you said.
Okay, all right.
Yep. Well, we'll talk to you later on. Talk to you guys next week on that very riveting topic, and it's actually something that I'm for and I'm into. So there you go. Cool. Have a great day, everyone. And I don't know if anyone's actually going to get anything from this episode, but hey, we were here.
And if you've got any questions for our listener mail segment, we really appreciate it if you send it through to podcast 3idiots@gmail.com.
There you go. Or any of our social media channels.
Yeah. Otherwise, listener mail segment might be gone.
Yeah, it's starting to get dragged out a little bit.
It's always been dragged out. Anyway.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.